What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Garage Talk Tuesday. I'm going to sit here a little bit and let people come in before we start getting to it. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. It's been nothing but raining here in Tennessee. I'm glad we need the rain. Got some good news and some bad news to go over then here in a little while. So we're gonna wait for a little bit of people to pop in here before I even start talking. We're gonna have some good news about these. Gonna have some good news about this lure right here, and everything else on the website right here as well, and right here as well. That's one thing that I do wear when I'm out in the water when it's cold. Keeps me warm, very, 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 very warm. But we'll go over that here in a little while. Boom. Yeah. I'm drinking my Mountain Dew. It's beautiful out right now. It's raining, it's warm outside. I'm on here a little early. I told everyone 7:15 Central Time. So we shall see. Give us some time for people to pop in here. On another note, how's everybody doing? I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I hope that went over well. If you haven't noticed, I was out fishing, of course, on Thanksgiving. I've been out doing a lot of river fishing. A lot of river fishing. With little things like this. Little things like this. But we can go over that here in a little bit. I haven't got some other ones sitting here. It's a Tennessee shad color. That is Pulsefish Lure Spinning PJ. But I'll go over this here in a little while. Oh, yeah. We shall see how this goes. I didn't charge my phone, so my phone's at like 50%. So we shall see how that works. But yeah, like what I was going to get into is I'm going to be doing a lot of river fishing this winter. A lot. I'm going to be using a lot of crankbaits and 1/4 ounce swim jig heads and drop shots, of course. But haven't used a whole lot of drop shot time, so I'm still working on that. Still not the greatest with that, but we will work on that. And as you've seen before, we were doing, what did we do? My neighbor was using a wacky rig on the river, which was funny. I didn't think that would work, but apparently it did. So he was hammering them left and right when he was using that. I started laughing at first. I told him that it wasn't going to work, but he proved me wrong. So we'll give it some time over here. Go over some of my Where's it at? What do I do with it? I got some more lures that have been cranking up, or so I'm gonna need to go buy another one of these because I lost my DT10, so now I only got a DT8 and a DT6 of this color. Right now, this on the river is money, 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 money. But this ain't my go-to bait. My go-to bait is that 1/4 ounce jig. 1/4 ounce jig head. Slow rolling it. But give it some time. I don't even know what the time is right now. Let's see. It is 7:18, so we shall see. $7:18. Let some people roll in here. I'm gonna go over some more products that I have here in the boat as well here in a little while. Just give you just a little brief. I got some pulse jigs. Got the spinning PJ, which is an underspin, and a bunch of spinners, especially ones for like murky water. Now you have your double willow, which is going to be your gold and silver, and then of course you have your Colorado blade with that nice, beautiful little orange kicker right here, as you can see. So I got a bunch of these sitting right here in the box that I didn't get to use yet, but we'll go over those here in a little while once people start popping in here. Welcome whoever just joined. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm sitting here drinking my Mountain Dew. Gotta have a Mountain Dew. I know it's bad for me, so don't say nothing. Welcome whoever it is in the chat. I have no idea who you are until you actually comment. Oh, my wife. Well, hello, darling. How are you? How are you? Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now we're at 4, so I don't know who all just popped in. 3 just popped in here, so 3 more. I'm giving it some time for everyone to pop in here. If you don't, go ahead and type in the chat so I can actually see who it is, so I know who I'm talking to. That's the only way for me to know. So just giving you guys a heads up. You haven't been in here anymore. If you haven't been in here before, type in the chat so I know who it is, so I can see who I'm talking to. Waiting for all the wonderful knowledge I have to share. All my wonderful knowledge. It's all about going out and having fun. It's all about going out and having fun. What's up, buddy? Pulse Fish Lures is in here. So, I got numerous stuff that I'm going to be going over. I got one specific one here, which you know is familiar. Numerous types. Another one here, which is your pearl white, which is familiar. You have your pearl white spinning PJ with the paint is gone. You have another one that I have on here, which is, I don't know if you can see the color, but your Tennessee shad. And of course you have your Morning Dawn Adventures. What is going on? You have your chartreuse one, as you can see. That's down beating the rocks. And you also got your another spinning PJ that I have there, getting ready for work. There you go. Got white ones. Got numerous white ones. And of course, for all you guys that like throwing your spinner baits in that murky water, sitting right here. Right there. Smashed them yesterday. All right. It's a good deal. It's a good deal that you smashed them. Other ones I have sitting here for your deeper with your huge Colorado blade. For your murky water. Got another color for your murky water, Colorado blade. And of course you got your black and blue, same 5/8 ounce murky water. And of course you got your gray, which I've been using a lot. But you have your silver and you have your gold Colorado blade. And for if you really want to throw for your ladies, there you go. You got your pink and black, and your big old Colorado blade. But anyway, just giving you guys some more news for people that pop it in. The promo code for Pulse Fish Lures has changed. It is not Blyler 10 anymore. It is now officially Blyler 15. So when you go to that website, make sure you don't use Blyler 10, put in Blyler 15, and you will save 15% off your order. Now, I can't verify specific things for clothing, this and that, you know, like this that I wear all the time when I'm out fishing, so I stay warm. I always got this. Always got this on when I'm out there. It keeps me warm. I can't guarantee anything on apparel, but I can say about lures. And I will be going over what I have been using lately. And it's simple. It's very, 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 very basic. People are overcomplicating things right now. Number one, if you don't have it in your boat, must. I gave you a shout out on my package in my mail on the 6 cent suspending lipless. There you go, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cameron Gadd, what's going on? What's going on, man? Welcome, welcome. Gave you a shout out. I'm telling you, man, that suspending lipless crankbait is a sleeper. People, I understand it sounds stupid, but wintertime, do people not use a suspending jerkbait? Yes. So why can't you have a suspending lipless crank? It just has that tight wobble and it stops and it just sits there. Tight wobble and it stops, and they'll just come right up and just hammer it. But what do I know? You know, I'm just a normal person. I'm not a pro. I'm just like you, man. I'm just giving you the knowledge that I have, which what I've tried, what I've used, and what has worked. But since you are going out, I don't have my DT10. I lost both of them. But right now, on the river, or even on the lake, this is a must-have right now. A DT10 or a DT6 is a must. Get yourself one. Now, like what I'm using right now on my spinning reel, do you have Messenger or Instagram chat so we can get a hold of you? Yes, I will give you guys. On my Facebook page is Bible Belt Fishing. It's the same exact thing. Just look that up on Facebook, which is Bible Belt Fishing. This is another staple. Right there is an underspin. All right, Mataray's underspin, Airy, however you want to pronounce it. This is basic. This is a basic one, which is the Tennessee shad color, which you could see. There we go. It focused. As you can see right here, it's got phenomenal components on here. Very, very thin wire. Like it just jabs. But what I will tell you, I have this on. All right, when you go ahead and buy any, especially one like this that's albino, just a pulse jig, you can get the 1/4 ounce. That is what I'm throwing them right now. Like this on 10-pounder, 8-pound test, which I have as my leader. It just has a tight little wobble and a thump, almost like a chatterbait. But you can buy those lures, and it comes with different style trailers to it. So you can have that one, you can have your Tennessee shad color one, or you can go to your pearl white. You can get packs like that online as well that actually comes in there. That's smoky. All right, there you go. My boss corrected me. That's Smokey. I got corrected. I stand corrected. But as you can see, the hook's very, 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 very thin. So right now, when you're out, as everybody knows, the fish are real finicky. They're not going to hit real hard. And I personally did not know until I was actually listening to videos. Apparently, their jaws and their skin get a little harder in the winter, so it's harder to pierce. So the smaller hook, smaller diameter hook, is much easier to pierce, as everyone knows. Old hickory. So these right here don't got to put a lot of pressure on them. The video that I was out Monday, I did not put up yet. I lost a couple minutes of the video. I did not get that finished yet, but that will be out tomorrow. But the majority of the time that you will see me right now, I'm throwing a 1/4 ounce swim bait, a crankbait, the DT10. I got 2 different colors, that one there, and I'm using a shad pattern. And Rob, almost, what's going on? What's going on? Appreciate it, appreciate it. He had, there you go. Back to what I was saying. Back to, let me see that. Back up with the chat here. Oh, got it. Mustard Ultra Point. He is going to correct me on any of this stuff that I goof up right now, because these are his products. You can catch a fish with a pallet. Yes, I can. Back in Pennsylvania, I can. If anybody doesn't understand what that is, before I moved down here to Tennessee, I was living in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and I worked for Millwood Incorporated, which is a pallet company, and I worked with him there before I moved down here to Tennessee. So that's why he's asked if I can catch a fish with a pallet. Just in case you guys were wondering, like, what the whole pallet thing was about. But back to what I was saying is right now they're not hitting real hard. So all you got to do is just go ahead, a slight little tug on your line, and it's just going to pierce their skin just right away. So right now I'm using a spinning rod. I am using, I think, 15-pound test. We can catch them out of a mud puddle. You can catch them out of a mud puddle. But like I was saying, is I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, that there. Right now, that's good info about the lip hardening in the winter. Yes, I did not know that. I did not know that. And watching different guys, and a lot of people do not want to say that. A lot of people don't want to give out techniques. I'm only going by what I just watched and what I tried. And as you can see on the Rapalas, they got real tiny treble hooks. Tiny. And I'm having a hard time to get them out of their lip when I'm trying. I got to use pliers. A lot of other lures, the fish are falling off. But on the swim baits that I've been using, I think I got 15-pound braid.
Something about 15-pound test or something like that.
Yeah, I already got it. 15-pound braid, and I'm using 8-pound test, or 8-pound on one and 10-pound on the other. 10-pound test fluorocarbon leader. One's, around 8 foot, and the other one's around 10. So you will see, well, you won't see in that part of the video. I got snagged. I lost my jig, my 1/4 ounce jig. So then I lost my leader. So I put a 16-pound leader on my spinning reel. I didn't catch another fish at all. I put 16-pound. I went from 10 to 16, and that's a huge difference when you're just slow rolling, just creeping that along. They didn't want it because they could see it. So I went over and I took off a leader off of my bait caster that I use my spinner on. That's 12-pound fluoro. Then all of a sudden I put that on. I measured out roughly around 7 to 8 foot. I started catching fish again. So I learned a lesson there as well. On the river, people don't 17-pound, 12. Yes, line does matter, especially when it's slow. And I found that out the hard way because I was getting frustrated. Like, I really wanted to come home. Like, it started to rain a little bit, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm not gonna sit here and do this. Like, I can't catch fish now. Like, they all disappeared. What am I doing wrong? It wasn't me. I wasn't doing anything wrong. What I did wrong was put 16-pound fluoro when it should have been 12 or smaller. Technically, you should probably go 8. And another thing is, if you're running any of these pulse jigs right here, you can go 1/4 ounce. The smaller the line diameter, the more thump these things are going to go, because it's going to give it more play to go back and forth. So if you guys haven't used any of these, I recommend go ahead and grab yourself some. But the benefit about this one versus the other jig head is this: I don't lose these as much. I can actually run into stuff and it's not hitting the hook. My other ones, there's nothing there. So all I'm doing is just, oh, I hit a twig, I'm done. I got to go ahead and try to turn the boat around. But like Saturday, I had to turn the boat around, start my motor up because my trolling motor wouldn't work, to go upstream because they're pumping that much water down the river. So just giving you a heads up on that. But doesn't matter where you're at right now. The 3 things that you should be trying: 1/4 ounce swim bait. Doesn't matter. Either of those, have an underspin. 1/4 ounce. You don't need 3/8. You don't need, you know what I mean? You don't need 1/2 ounce. You don't need any of those. Especially if you're on a lake. You want to get down 30 feet, a 1/4 ounce is going to get you down 30 feet. But slow. Go slow. They're moving slow. Bait fish are moving slow. And they're going to take it. Now I also have a drop shot, which you've seen before the past 5 videos. I didn't use a drop shot. Well, I'm going to start doing more and more tournament fishing, going into different sections. I want to go into the Phoenix BFLs this year. Well, I got to learn how to do this stuff. You know, I don't jig fish. Every now and then I do, but I got to learn that too as well. But as you've seen, I use 3 different things: a drop shot, crankbait, and a swim bait. Technically, that's all you need. Or spinner bait's fine too, but don't go fast. Like, you don't need, you know, if you're using a 3/8 ounce, go slow. If you're using a 5/8, go slow. Using, you know, 1/2 ounce, whatever it is, go slow. Everything for the winter is going to be slow right now. Old Hickory Lake, which you already fish it, you already know, has been horrible. Like, the spawn's been horrible this year. Summer was horrible. Now fall. The fall transition's been ridiculous. Like, they came in month and a half early, and now they're back out of 30 feet. Like last, I bet you're burning up that AFCO indoors. Yes, I am. Texas rig? Yes and no. I have one set up somewhere, but my Texas rig is set up on a wobble head. If you don't know what that is, it's a big old weight and it's got a swivel on it, and I'm just putting my crawfish on it, casting it out, and you're reeling that in like it's a crankbait. It's on the ground, hitting rocks, but slow. That's my Texas rig right now that I'm actually using, because you got to get down deep. Now, you're still going to find, like they say, I don't know how true it is, but 90% of your bass go back out deep, 10% stay shallow, like after spawning. Well, you could still catch fish shallow. And you could catch fish real shallow now, like in less than a foot of water. Like in, I think, 2 videos ago, when my buddy was using a lipless crank, and he put more fish in the boat than I did. Like, as soon as it was hitting the water on the river, like, they were hammering it. Smallmouth. That's where he caught that 3.06, I think it was. Like, he caught it right at the boat. Like, they were hammering that lipless crankbait. And I tried it, but I didn't have exactly what they wanted. On my crankbaits, I didn't have that high pitched ting like a rattle trap does. Like, I had 6 Sense ones. So I had either some BBs in it and a 1 knocker. It's cold enough. The shad will die off and cause more bigger fish. Yes, that's the problem right now, is there's tons of shad. Cameron, like, there's tons of shad. It doesn't matter if I'm on. When I went out Saturday, Saturday, I refused to go to the river because they turned on 3 generators when I was thinking they were going to do 1. So instead of pumping out 7,500 gallons, they're actually pumping over 19,000 a minute. And I'm not getting my boat on there because I don't feel like sitting there trying to fish getting hit by a log. You know what I mean? But bait fish are still out there. Water's not cold enough for them to die off. It's at 52. So they're still feeding on, hence, little bait fish. Like tiny ones. But I have that paddle tail on the back, but these actually are specifically made for that, for what I just showed you, which is the pulse jig. These 3 sets. I don't have the other color. I only have 3 of them. But these are specifically made for that bait. So if you guys order any of those, you can get them single, or you can actually get them with the trailers with them yet too. Like if you go on the website at pulsefishlures.com, you can go on there. The underspins are on there. I think I made a video or 2, I'll say last year, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, with the pulse jig and underspin. Like the underspin was working phenomenal in 10 to 8 feet. That was right after spawn when they were moving out. Like I was hammering them into creek channels, 8 to 10 feet. Like it was just a blast. But what's the code for the discount? The code will be Blyler15 for all you guys that have not heard. It is moving from Blyler 10 to Blyler 15. I just got told today that I'm able to up the code now. So instead of 10% off, you get 15% off. Now, eventually, I am getting kind of hot in this, by the way. But now, sweatshirts and apparel, I do not know. But as you see, when I'm out there fishing in my videos, I always got this one on for the most part. I am dying in this right now. It's getting a little hot out here in the garage. But I will be able to let you guys know further if it does go with hats, clothing. I have no idea yet. That I don't know. As of before, that was a no. Now, I don't know, but I will let you guys know. Are you going to the Bassmaster Classic this year? To watch it? Yeah, that'll be cool to watch it. But no, I'm not going to go. What I'm going to do is try to do a lot of practicing, a lot of uploading videos, because there's a lot of different stuff and a lot of different techniques that I want to try. Because I got to learn numerous ones. Because when you go out, I'm going to go out as a co-angler this year and actually do some of these MLF tournaments. But I got to know how to fish specific ways because I'm in the back of the boat. So I can't just pick how I want to fish. I'm not driving. So I got to go with that guy to drive his spots. It's in Knoxville. All right. Well, I might have to see the time and all that stuff when it is. That'd be cool to go check it out. Spend a weekend there in freaking Knoxville as a vacation. Bassmasters Classic. That'd be cool. Where is it on? Chick? Is that on Chickamauga? Or what lake is that on? Kids, do not try this at home. I do not condone it if you're under the age of 18. Good. Now I can't get sued because I told you. I'm not promoting it. But I will go over this here in a second. But like I was saying, Tennessee River. All right, that's even better. But basically, this is the last one that I had because I lost my other ones. So this is what I had to go down to. But I was still catching them. But I'm just giving you a basic idea of what I've been using in my videos. Very, very simple. Very simple. That's all. That's all I'm using. This I got to redo. Like, you barely can even see that line. And then I got braid attached to that. Very, very simple. Like, to be honest, like, people, I understand people want to sell this, people want to sell that. I was that guy. I'm like, ooh, I got to get the best of this. I got to get that. I got to get this. Well, guess what? I found out having all that good reels, this, it didn't help me do nothing. One thing it did help, I'm never doing a co-angler again. I heard a lot of bad stories if you only can throw from so far. I've heard a lot of bad stuff about co-anglers. But I got to get it done. Because my whole goal is to get on that circuit eventually. Which you guys already know. I'm eventually going to sell this boat. So once I sell this boat, I'm going to be getting another boat. Do you have a boater link yet? No. I do not have any of that stuff yet. The signups and all that stuff just came out. I didn't do any of that yet. But I will by by the end of January. But yeah, I was that guy. Oh, this person like Ben Milliken from 6th Sense has this, or this person has this DC Corrado, blah blah blah. I went out and bought them. I mean, don't get me wrong. Biler 15 does include the AFCO hoodie plus the hat you're wearing. Sweet. There you go. There's your answer, everybody. There is your answer. So to stay warm while you're out there, the AFCO Reaper. Don't forget that this is AFCO's Reaper hoodie. This is their Reaper hoodie. And I wear this spring. I wear this, all the time. Like, I constantly have this on. And I just got AFCO's new jacket yet, too. So I did not know that. Now he just told me that it does, so that's even better. So now that actually includes that as well. Last year it didn't. It's a great weekend trip to have the sponsor boost. I bet Pulse Fishing will be there. He will be able to tell you. He's in here right now. If he's going to be in there for their, I don't know. They might be. I mean, it's not like he's far away because they're, you know what I mean? I don't know how many hours it is away. I'm thinking about a boater. Well, with that, what I was saying to you guys about boating, being a co-angler for right now, because eventually I'm going to sell this boat. All right. So when I sell this boat, I want to actually get a bass boat. This is a great boat right now. I enjoy it. I love it. It does basically whatever I want to do. I can put the pole in the back, take the boys water skiing, tubing, whatever. It's a great all-around boat. But I want a good bass boat. Yep, we will be there. There you go. There's your answer, Cameron. There is your answer. You just got your answer there for you. But out of all you guys right now, how many guys are throwing underspins right now? People that are in here, how many people are throwing underspins right now? Or jig heads right now? Swim jigs, should I actually say. Not the actual swim jig, but you know what I mean? Because if you aren't, we will have a booth. Come by and see us. There you go. There you go. But if you guys aren't, you guys have been watching my videos. A lot of you guys that are in here now have been watching my videos. You know what I mean? That's what I'm mainly throwing is a 1/4 ounce. That is it. Make it simple. I'm even using a spinning rod. I got 2 spinning rods. I own 2. That's it. Now, but I will tell you guys this. There's only a couple reels that are worth the money. Don't go out and blowing your money on a reel. Waste it on a rod. I learned the hard way. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Daiwa Tatula reels right now. 10. All right. Don't get me wrong. I use them all for different stuff. From a 6-3-1, a 7-1-1, and an 8-1-1. My 8-1-1's for jig and topwater. I fished a Flow Costa, and we had a guy in a Ranger walleye boat. Yeah, You actually see those. What are they called? They also have, I've seen a couple luns. I haven't been out in a while. I need to get out fishing. Coasting in 2016. Sweet. But fishing rods, I will get back to that. Besides the tackle that you should be throwing right now, use a spinning rod. There ain't no reason for a chatterbait. Chatterbait. Because you guys know that's my go-to lure. But there is no reason to have, a lot of bait catchers. Now, don't get me wrong. My A-rig's working. You're going to need that for your A-rig. That's a must. 3 things you want to... I will go over the stuff I have in the boat. I have numerous rods, but I'm only going to try a couple things. A-rig, 1. Jerkbait, 2. I got a 1/4 ounce jig, like a bitsy jig. Or you can go 3/8, but make sure that it's slow. That's 3. Underspin is 4, and 5 is your 1/4 ounce. Throwing those underspins in ditches and drains right now. Exactly. Those are major things. And I have a drop shot. So my 2 ones that I have that I use, spinning reels, a drop shot, and my 1/4 ounce jig, my 1/4 ounce swim jig. That's it. Those are the only 2 that I use. And a crankbait. All right, so maybe a little more than that. But you get the point. Now, what was I going to say? A lot of people have been asking me. I know it's not the right thing, and a lot of people say not to do it. But since I change out crankbaits so much, if it's on a chatterbait, why can't I have mine on here? And this is what I have on my crankbaits. I don't know if you guys can see it, but a lot of people say it's bad to use. But if this is the main component on a chatterbait, holding chatterbait together and my line, why can't I have this for a crankbait? So that's just an idea for you guys, so you know how to cut the line and this, and this. I use it all the time. So if you see in my videos, like how's he just switching, lures left and right, I use these on basically everything. I have it on my chatterbait. I have it on my crankbait. I use it constantly. And another thing that I will tell you about that right now, this Daiwa Tatula is a 6-3 to 1. All right. 6-3 to 1 on my crankbait. 12-pound fluoro. Nothing wrong with using that at all. All right. A lot of people I have question, why are you using that? It just ruins the action of the bait and blah, blah, blah. I say no. Now, if you have one that has a swivel on it, I will say that it ruins the action. I have physically felt that in the rod. But to me, it doesn't ruin the action. Use that for the pulse jig for more thump as well. A little tip. Well, that's why, hence, as you can see, my line's still attached to it. That's why it's on this one that I got. It came with it. This is a very, 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 very heavy one, but as you see, I'm on the ground with it. I'm down in the rocks. I still have it. It's beat up. The paint's gone. It's in the rocks. So as you can see, it's a swim bait that I'm down in the rocks and I'm not getting stuck. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not 100%. You know what I mean? I just, you're just not going to sit here and just yank to try to get it, but I haven't got it stuck. But I will recommend downsizing. Anthony Guerrera, what do I like? What do you be catching? Right now, I'm going for any type of bass. Right now, I switched over from the lake to the river because I was struggling. And I want to get my faith back in fishing because I've been struggling. And I want to produce a video and I want to produce stuff for you guys to watch and to possibly learn from. So what's my best bet? Hit the river. Because you know why? It's flowing current. It doesn't matter if it's cold. They're still biting. And the difference is the river over here and the lake over here are 2 different ways to fish. Now I'm fishing in current. these fish are going to pull up on the rocks a lot higher, and I don't got to fish as deep because they're waiting for the crawfish and everything else. Nice. I've never done freshwater. I'd be doing saltwater. Sweet. I like saltwater. Been out twice. First one was when I was a kid, when I was 16, and I ended up in the middle of the boat because I got seasick, and I was pale white throwing up. And the second time was off a pier, and I was in Florida. Those are the only times I ever fished the ocean. What's the biggest freshwater fish I have ever caught? The biggest freshwater fish that I ever caught was, I will say, I think it was four and a half or 4 3/4 foot tiger muskie. See, back home in Pennsylvania, to where I'm here in Tennessee, we have a lot of pike, we have a lot of walleye, we have a lot of pickerel, we have a lot of muskie. Then you have your regular muskie, and then you have your tiger muskie, which they have some beautiful, like if you Google it, they have beautiful stripes. Don't even think about putting your teeth in because your fingers are gone. Now you got pickerel, fingers are gone. So if you thought people don't want to, don't want to stick their hands in a striped bass, nah, fine. I will put my hands in a striped bass mouth all day. So you got to figure pike, I'll take your lures. Muskie, I'll take your lures. Tiger muskie, pickerel. Now pickerel, I will catch more when we went ice fishing. So that's in Pennsylvania. All our lakes froze. So going from Pennsylvania to Tennessee is now I get to stay in a boat all year round. Yeah, it's 33 degrees outside. Yeah, I'm fishing, and I got to keep sticking my rod tip in the water because my eyelets are freezing. I got 2 3s and a 5 yesterday upriver on a Ned rig. Sweet. No one's had that luck much in a while. What did he just put that last comment? I didn't get to see quick. Top chat. Let's see. Yeah, I see a lot of freshwater stuff. They've been wanting to do it. Where are you from? Anthony, where are you from, by the way? I know you gotta be down by the ocean somewhere. Are you like Florida, Louisiana, like bottom Texas? Like you gotta be somewhere down there. I'm guessing. Because if you say you're in the Carolinas, there's tons of lakes. Tons of lakes in the Carolinas, tons of lakes in Florida. Someone just sent me a text message like, I'm from California. All right, well, there you go. They got a lot of great lakes in California, especially spotted bass. I think, don't get me wrong, but Google it. I think the new world record was just caught, and I think it might have been in California. I think it was like 10, 11, 12 pound spot. Like it wasn't like real long, but its stomach was just ridiculous. Like it was a monster bass. But I don't quote me if I'm wrong. You have to Google it. But I think the record spotted bass was just caught in, I think it was in California. Because they got monster spotted bass. I think it was in a delta, if I'm not correct. But like I was getting back to on rods and reels. The only reel, yes, I do a lot of salt water. I got a calico bass, 19-inch. Sweet. Are you fishing from the shore? He said Cali. Wow, I was about to drink that. Biggest spotted bass around is in Cali. There you go. So I was basically correct. So if you want to go ahead and catch some big old spots, spots fight and hit a lot harder than a largemouth does. They can be tiny, and I'm catching tiny ones now, but they hit when they hit. Yes, from the water breakers. All right. But like I was going back to when I was talking about reels, there's one reel that I spent, well, I'm ordering another one. Well, I'm ordering a different one. But I will say the SLX the Shimano SLX DC. Yes, it's a little bigger, but what you can do with that reel, you can't do with a lot of other reels that are on the cheaper line. Like I just, let me see. I think I ordered the new Daiwa Tatula SV TWS 103, I think it is. That's basically just like the Shimano DC reel, meaning I can cast it out there and it's not going to bird's nest. I can throw 1/4 ounce baits, 3/16 ounce baits with a bait caster, and it's not going to go ahead. I got the a Stingray 5 feet wingspan, weighed about 50 pounds. See, I'm not touching any of that stuff, man. See, a Stingray, I see my buddy over in Australia. I used to watch his videos, as a kid, just mess around, and he ended up dying. You know what I mean? I don't know if any of you guys watched that, you know what I mean? Years ago, when guy from Australia died because he got stung by a stingray numerous times. So you won't catch me fishing for stuff like that. I'll stay inland on the river, or I will stay Pine Flat Lake, California. That is where the new record spot was just caught. Is what you're talking about? Pine Lake. 10.27 pounds. There it is. So yeah, I knew I just seen it. That is a fat fish. That is a fat fish. That is very, 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 very fat. But I'm a huge Daiwa fan, but I had to try that SLX DC. I mean, that little noise is pretty cool too as well. But besides that, if I could regular catfish 20 pounds in Arizona, you caught a regular catfish of 20 pounds. Sweet, dude. That's some good weight on that fish. 20-pound catfish. That's my problem. I don't have the patience for any of that. I don't have the patience to just cast down and let it sit. I just don't. That's why the majority of mine, if you see with the majority, well, all of Pulse Fish Lures, for one, it's a moving bait. All right. I like moving baits, crankbaits, go to. I'm a diehard. Everyone knows I'm a diehard 6 Sense fan. Diehard. All of them are moving baits, except for I'm using a couple Texas rig, jig, and then I'm using a drop shot. But for the most part, it's all moving baits. But back to the whole reel in 2015. Sweet. I used crawfish. I had about 40-pound test line. Dang. Yeah, you're going to need some sturdy line and a sturdy rod for that as well. But if you're looking for rods as well for saltwater, Kistler Rods is coming out with a saltwater series. Just giving you a heads up. If you're looking for a good rod, Kistler is finally coming out with a saltwater series, and you can also use promo code FISHNOW and save 15% off all your rods there and your reels as well. Yes, that is a good one. But like I thought I had to have, those expensive reels, and it really didn't do me nothing. So I found out the hard way. I spent $1,000 on reels, and what did it do? I'm still catching the same amount of fish. I'm not catching anything bigger. But I took my first Kistler reel. I bought my first Kistler reel, and I can tell the difference of being able to feel a small little bite and having a good reel. Like I'm trying to figure out bass fishing. We still love snook fishing. Yes. To keep fish pinned. I couldn't figure out why I was losing fish. Like I hook them. I set the hook good, this, and this. I had an expensive reel. I had a cheap rod. I couldn't figure out why. For instance, people use chatterbaits. I do. Use it a lot. you have your Kistler Feeling Reel. This is what I have here, which some of you guys have already seen. All right. What do you want to have? You want to have your rods stay pinned. Like this rod is like, I can wrap it around my neck. All right. Like it's huge to have a rod for that. Like I can wrap the stuff around my head. And it's warranted. It's made in Texas, made in the USA. Very, very light. And of course, I was talking about my SLX DC reel I have on here. Now, the reason why I have this reel on this is I can put it on number 4 and I can skip docks with that chatterbait and not worry about a backlash. I don't have to thumb it. With the microchip that's in there, you don't got to worry about backlashing and you don't got to worry about thumbing it. I already did a short or like a video months ago when I first got it. But yeah, like Anthony, go there, go on to Kistler. Since you do a lot of saltwater fishing, they got saltwater rods. And they're going to be, and I think they're coming out with some fly fishing, I think for trout as well. So they're getting a huge broad, and they're all specific. They are all technique specific rods. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This one right here, that if you watch all my videos that I've been doing, all right, this little one that I've been using my little swim bait on, it's a 6'3", light, medium, heavy, and it's called the Dock Skipper. It's Kistler's Dock Skipper. Like this has been the first rod that I've ever been able to skip a wacky rig on because I end up messing something up. But this thing, the way it bends and everything else, like it is just, like it just shakes. Like it is a phenomenal rod. I just missed what you put. Have I done fly fishing? I tried it and I was horrible. I couldn't cast where I was looking at. It was horrible. So I just nixed that and I said, I'm not doing that. Like back home in Pennsylvania, I wouldn't fly fish, but I trout fished all the time. There's a lot of creeks, and they stocked a lot of trout. But yeah, if you're going to start getting into fishing, one thing you need to, what I'll say, find yourself an underspin. Right here, I have them in the pack. I got a bunch that's not even opened. But as a lot of my viewers and followers have known, once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I will be having my giveaway. Once I'm over that, and they stay. Because what YouTube does every so often, they will go through your followers to see how many like are fake, and then they kick them off, like they get rid of them. Because sometimes I'll just get random, my followers will go up and there's zero notification. Do you use narrow spin? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by narrow? Here, I'll open it up right now. I'm going to open up now. As you can see, the little, I don't know if you can see the little keeper that is on that. Come on, focus in on that. See the little keeper there? That helps a lot. Some of the bigger ones, they end up tearing your bait apart. So when you put them on, this doesn't tear your bait apart, and it sits really nice and snug. And as you can see, it's a real small hook. This is a 3/8 ounce. By the way, in case you're wondering, I'm using a 3/8 ounce that I just took out of the pack. So, but once that stuff sticks, I will be having a giveaway. Like I will be buying it's like a brown and purple lure with a size 5 hook used for bass and catfish. No, I do not. No, I do not use that. I don't fish for catfish normally. Like if I catch one on, I'll catch one on a crankbait by accident. But I just don't have the patience to just sit there, cast, and just let it sit. But like I was saying, once I get over 1,000 and it sticks, I will be giving some pulse lures away, and I will be ordering. When you get 1,000, we will donate towards your giveaway. Let us know. Well, I was gonna buy some and I was gonna give it away anyway. But once they stick, like I told people before, I'm gonna have a drawing live. And I understand that people are followers. Yes, fine. You can go ahead and click on it and try to be there for like a giveaway. I'm not doing that. You see the people that are in here in the chat. I see the people that actually comment in my videos on a weekly, I'll say daily. I'm not gonna go daily, but a weekly basis that keep up with my videos. You know, there's a large sum, but it will be actually be in my video. So that will be able to tell people who's actually watching and who is not. Because I've done a giveaway before and my subscribers went up real high, really fast, and then all of a sudden they disappeared after the giveaway. So you learn from your mistakes. So what I'll end up doing is going through the people, and it will be in my video of what you're going to need to do to enter the drawing and when I'm going to have that drawing. And I'm going to do it live on a Tuesday like I'm doing now. But I'm going to make it simpler, is I'm going to put all those people in a hat, and I'm going to have my wife pick out of the hat, and it's going to be done live. So I'm going to put everyone that normally follows, that has Chad, that just follow what they was supposed to do in the video, and I'm going to put those people in. And then when other people complain, be like, hey, it was in the video of what to do, you just didn't want to. But I'm going to make a couple videos so they can say, so they can't say, well, I just missed that video. Well, I will make at least 4 videos and put the same description of what you need to do in each of those videos. So I'm going to make 4 in a row. So if you missed all 4, there's nothing that I can do. You really technically don't follow my channel. The giveaway will send it anywhere because it's a lot to send to California, because I know I will win. But like I was saying, is I'm going to buy an Argon Series rod. All right. But I'm going to have it sent straight from Texas to your home. And I'm going to tell Kistler, Trey, the owner of Kistler, what I'm doing. And I'm going to have it sent. So, but it's going to be an Argon Series rod. So what it's going to happen is whoever wins, you're going to go to the Kistler website, look at the Argon Series rods, see what's in stock at that time, and you pick out your technique specific rod. It'll look exactly how this rod looks right now. This is an Argon Series rod right here. This one right here is I'm going to give you the specs on this one. It's a 7'6" medium heavy, but it is my deep cranking swim baits and my A-rig rod. So this is what an Argon Series looks like as of right here. But this is 7'6". This is what I use for my cranking rod, and I also use it for my deep cranks. So that's why I have my DT10s, my DT12s, and so on that. But I also can put my A-rig on this. It's a great rod. This is like my #1 rod that I use every single time that I go out fishing.
Did you see the comment from Wolf?
Yeah. So, but I will go ahead and have you guys look at that, and you go down, whether it's a spinning, whether it's a bait casting, whether it's a casting rod. Now, I'm surprised that my sponsor's willing to put money in. I mean, that's awesome that he did. You know, like, I appreciate that. But I was also going to throw some lures in, like my own stuff. I was going to buy them, have them sent here, and then throw those in. Depending on the time, you know, my viewers have been going up great right now, so it might be, you know, sooner rather than later. But I'm going to give like 4 videos in a row just so I can keep repeating myself over and over and over again. So the actual true followers will actually be able to win. It ain't just going to be some random person. Hey, I follow, boom, you won. No. Who's actually following me, that's taking the time to watch the video and help me out, that's helping me out. As well as, you know, hopefully you're learning something from me. So as well as I'm teaching you something, or you know, just I do some dumb stuff on the boat sometimes, you know, or I almost lost my rods, or my buddy's hat flew off, or I had my wife, reeling in, using her lure, and she thought it was a fish until she brought it in, and it was here the whole time. It was just her lure acting up. And I will be checking out their swim jigs, and I am a swim jig guy. But I will tell you right now, their swim jig rod, if you're looking to buy a swim jig rod, to be honest, look at Kistler's Feeling Reel, just in case. Just take a look at the Feeling Reel. I have that for my chatterbait, and I have another one for my swim jig. Both of those are Feeling Reel. Just all you need to do is just type in everything on that website is technique specific. So you can type in swim jig, or you can type in chatterbait, and Feeling Reel is probably going to come up for both of those. That's the next step up in price. But at the same exact time, I will recommend that's what I throw my chatterbait on. And that's what I throw my swim jig on. Like if you go back further in my videos, you will see the Pulse Fish Lures swim jig where I was trying to talk to you guys, like in my video, and I ended up hooking in that 4-pounder. Yeah, that's the rod that I'm using. It's a total different, like it just, the one that I almost bent in half, that's what that is, like to keep them pinned. Now, Kistler is just not a rod. Now, they also have reels. They have a brand new series coming out yet. They didn't leak it. Blyler 15 code, no, not on there. Blyler 15 code is for Pulse Fish Lures. For Kistler, it's Fish Now. Like if you put in Fish Now, that one's that one. Fish Now is for Kistler. But with Pulse, that is Blyler 15. But just take a look at that so you don't, you know what I mean? An Argon series rod, yes or no? I was talking about the Pulse jigs. Yeah, that one's Blyler 15. But I will also give you a heads up on, I don't have the information yet because Trey didn't release it yet. But there's a brand new Chromium series reel or some crazy reel that they're coming out with, and a different rod. Like I don't know how much. I have a feeling that price is gonna be around like $400, $500 for the rod. Don't quote me on it, but it's up there. Like it's their best blank that they have. Yeah, the Pulse. Yeah, the Pulsum jigs. Yes, everything on that website. So hats, shirt. Like if you haven't noticed, like I was saying on before, I wear that hoodie out there. Like I do not get cold. I just wear my hat, put my hood up, and have that covering the Reaper covering my face. When it's real cold. Now when I don't, then I'll use like my blue Huck. When it's not that cold, I'll use that one, and then I'll just have a jacket over that. But when it's cold, yeah, that actually works great. But yeah, with Pulse, it is Blyler 10. But yeah, so there'll be a lot of stuff up and coming, especially within the new year. There'll be there's a lot of different stuff that I'm going to be trying. I'm going to try, to do a lot of, I'm going to try to get to a lot of different lakes yet too. You know what I mean? Like I want to try different stuff. But if it's not pouring here, I'm going to try to get out on the lake again Saturday. And of course, I'm going to be using my 1/4 ounce swim jigs like I have been. So I will be using those Saturday. But I will recommend going out and buying some. Like different ones. Like it all depends. Say today, they might be in an active mode. All right. So right now, if you want your active mode, this has more of a thump. You know what I mean? Like it's going to go back and forth. This I have used quite often. Now, don't forget, when you order, you can actually get ones that are like this with the swim baits with it. Or you could just get it without yet, too. But you have this one. And I got their new I don't know if it's Matt Ares. Finesse, yeah, it is. It's his finesse swim jig head. They're single on there. They're $6.99. Don't quote me on that. But I ordered some of those for them to come in, and I'm gonna be using those because I, lost a couple of my other ones. But those have which is gonna be huge, is the screw lock on them, which is huge, 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 huge. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of going through swim baits. Like, I'm tired of it. Like, they just fall off. Like, a couple fish and they're done. Like, they just keep sliding. And once they slide too much, like, it doesn't want to stay on. So when I'm swimming it, like, it's up the hook. But if you go on pulsefishlures.com, go to the finesse swim jig head. That actually has a real good screw lock on. None of their other ones have a screw lock on. That's the finesse ones. Hopefully I have them coming in. Hopefully they'll be here Friday, so I can go ahead and put them on a video for you guys Saturday. I will, and if they come Saturday, I'm gonna put them in my video Monday if it's not pouring. But I will go over all the details with them when I get those in. Excuse me. And I'll show you what I'm actually using. Like, I am putting them on 8-pound or 10-pound test fluorocarbon leader. I'm not going anything higher than that. And I think my spinning reel is a 6-3-1. That's also a Kistler reel. So that's on my Kistler rod and my Kistler spinning reel. But that there is recommended. Those and underspin, either of those. So you have the Pulse jig. Of course, Mr. Toyota Series himself, Matt Ares, has his own personal underspin. And now he also has his finesse swim bait head. Those I had to get. Once I seen those, I'm like, oh, I got to get those. Especially since they're 1/4 ounce. And wait till you see this next video. My first fish was on a drop shot. I didn't get nothing. And then it was just one after another. Then my GoPro got wet. And then I had to let it sit and dry out a little bit. Then I could reuse it again. So I didn't get a lot of footage in between there. But we probably put, I'll say, about 20 in the boat. 20 in the boat until he was throwing jigs the whole time. I didn't touch a jig. So the guy in the back was throwing jigs. One of the guys that I took out was throwing a jig the whole time. I didn't touch a jig. He didn't get a bite for a couple hours. Just added them to my home screen. Sweet. But yeah, use Blyler15 for your promo code, and I love them. Like, at first, I just tried them because I like little underspins, and that's what got me hooked. I went and got, different underspins, 6 cents underspin, that are, this. I got a pack of 6 cents, then I got a pack of different ones at Bass Pro, then Academy, and they didn't perform. I'm just casting, just throwing out, and don't do what I actually do. You can, but if you lose your lure, that's on you. And Rich, if Jeremy, or the guy that runs Pulse Fish, knows, and he's seen my videos, how I use these like a chatterbait. He says the way that he has not seen anyone swim these the way that I do. I'll throw these around weeds. I'm not telling you to throw them around weeds, because if you lose it, that's on you. But I throw these around weeds. I throw this around, docks and everything else to where they would possibly get hung up. But I've caught a lot of fish just because it's a very minimal thump, and it just has a tight wobble. That's something different that they don't see. They see jigs, they see worms, they see this, and they see a lot of different things. But one thing that they don't see is they don't see this. So what I was told, and what I was told by him, is think outside the box. Think outside the box. What don't they see? They see a chatterbait. They see a spinner. They see this. But as you see, they see all that worms, jigs, this and that. But do they see? Hold on. Sitting here trying to put it together here. They see all that stuff. I did that a little too high. Did that too high, so I kind of ruined that one. Did that way too high. But you'll get the gist of it. I'm not taking my time. I'm not taking my time. But tell me, I'm just getting fast with this. They don't see this. They are not seeing this swim by them. And this just flutters as it rolls. Just something different. Just giving you guys an idea. Don't rush on putting that swim bait on there. Just don't rush when you're doing it. Like I just did, and I just ruined it because it looks horrible. But you can throw them around docks, throw them around rocks, throw them around grass. Now you can get you can use the 3/8 ounce, and if there's still grass that you're out in a boat and you know there's still deeper grass, I don't even see it. Hold on. I put it on wrong. It should be sticking out like this. I just hurried up. Like this is bad. So don't go by what I just did here. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to be sticking out more like this. So you have your bait like this, and all it's going to do is when it's in there, it's going to thump and it's going to roll back and forth. And this here is almost like a weed guard. So just giving you a heads up. Just so you know, I throw it like a chatterbait. But at the same exact time, the lighter the line, the more thump that you're going to get on that lure. So that's just something to give you guys a heads up. So when you're going out, presentation, crankbait, someone's throwing this, someone's throwing that. What isn't someone throwing? What haven't they seen? They haven't seen that. You know, they have seen huge, bulky underspins. All right, fine. You have seen bulky underspins. Now, have they seen a tiny chartreuse one? Now, this chartreuse one was great in the spring. Tiny. But I have it on here, you know, that this throws a lot of kickoff. Now, this right now, throwing this out here, smallmouth or gobbling stuff like this up. Like it's real, real tiny. I think this is a 2.8-inch Kitech on here. All right, and the reason why I like using chartreuse, you hear people always dipping the tail in chartreuse, right? So they'll go ahead and dip it in, put a little chartreuse here. I don't need to do that. It's already on here. I already got it on there. So I don't need to worry about it. So when it's coming through, they're already seeing the top is already chartreuse. I don't need to worry about the rest of it. Just giving you guys a heads up. And then if you put it on like an underspin, here's your real tiny underspin. Tiny, 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 tiny. This is Tennessee shad. And the components that they use on here are amazing. Like it's not just hanging down here, you know, they use quality products. So this is another little tiny one that I use out there, which I lost 4 of these. Those are more expensive than the other ones, so I try not to use those too much in the river. I already lost 4. And all I have left are 3 white ones. So I'm trying not to lose those. So those are staying in the pack. But the rain's coming. The rain is now. I'll pop out on the lake or any runoffs that are going into the river. And then I'll have this tied up once I get it. When it's real muddy and murky, I'm pulling this bad boy out. Real muddy and murky. This one is the 3/8, which I don't know if I should have got the 5/8 so I can even go slower. But it seems whenever I use a 5/8, I go too slow and I always hang up on stuff. All right, hold on. You just put something down here and I missed it. Have you ever heard of bait boats for fresh water? Bait boats? No. So this is another one just in case you were curious and you want another one with the silver. Oh, I use them for salt water for bass. All right, man. Tight lines. You have a good night. Thank you for stopping in, man. I appreciate it. So if you're looking for like another one, here's your silver one. Silver and gold blade. They got numerous stuff there. So if you go onto the website, you know, go ahead and just check out all the stuff. It's, as you can see, I have it here. And you can see in my videos, I use them. And I catch fish on them. So, I mean, what more proof? I mean, like, how do you think, you know, people from Sixth Sense, how do you think, you know, people use the stuff and to see that it works? Like, how many big fish have people that use their jackhammer as a chatterbait? Catch big fish. It is what it is. Now, I got away from the jackhammer. If we're going on a chatterbait route, I used the Thunder Cricket. 3/8 spinnerbait is the best seller by far. All right. I chose 3/8 because I like to slow roll them and I don't get hung up. I'm not down in the weeds and dirt because I like to throw shallow with them. And I like to go over, you know, logs and everything else. It just seems when I use a 5/8, the spinner rolls over and I can catch. And it gets me frustrated. And then I end up losing something. I lose my temper and I snap it. But I got a bunch of those. But if you're wondering for anything right now, I will go to specific lures right now. If you're using a crankbaits, I'm going to go over the DT lineup, whether it's a DT6, a DT10, DT8. Have yourself one. Have yourself a shad pattern. Have yourself a crawfish pattern. Here's your crawl that I use. And I use a darker one. I don't think you can see that pattern because of the light. The light behind it is horrible. I used to get 6 cents to paint my crankbaits before they were big. And they're a great company with amazing quality. Their hooks are ridiculous. Like, I have ruined my pants, my sweatshirts, my jackets because of their hooks. Like, I have not found a company that has ridiculous hooks like that. So as you've seen, I have two. These are my DT8s. Here's another DT8. You really can't see if I can get that in there. That's a DT8 that I have there. And I'm going to go down to my DT6. I have a DT6. Then you want to go to your DT10s. That's the color of my DT10 that I use, shad. And I'm trying to get my other one. These are the only shad colors that I use when I'm fishing either the lake or the river. Giving you a heads up. And this one. So I'm using those as my patterns. And of course, when I think that they need a little bit of a rattle, I'm using my 6 Sense. As you can see, this is beat up, somewhat cracked. Like, I beat this one up. And this sound on that, this is my go-to bone. If I'm out anywhere, winter, spring, summer, fall, whatever, bone colored. As you can see, I beat that up. Like, I use that heavy. Like, I'm down in there cranking and just banging it off everything that I can. But I will give you a heads up. What I have learned, from this summer all the way through is do not have a straight retrieve. Do not. If you're down there cranking, it's hitting, bouncing, stop. Then start back up again because that bait's going to float back to them. If they're chasing, That bait's down there bouncing all over the place, and it stops and it starts floating back. When it starts to go again, it's just a reaction strike. They're going to hammer it. Everything. I will try to show you in my next video when I'm using a crankbait. I will tell you when I stop and when I start reeling, so you guys can see the difference of when I stop and I start reeling again, and that reaction strike out on the river in 50-degree cold water. It might be a little bit below 50, but you will actually see them hit and strike on my pause, right after my pause. I have learned that. I've learned trying different techniques, and that is my go-to technique with a crankbait. Doesn't matter if it's spring, summer, whatever, different pause. Do not reel it straight in, because it's just going to go like this and stop it. Number 2 reason, you're down there and you think you got stuck. Don't sit there and yank. The DT10s are balsa wood. They're just going to float back. They're going to float backwards. So if you're stuck underneath a limb's here and it comes flying in, it'll float back out, and then it'll start going again right over top. So just a quick tip, if you didn't know, when you're out here fishing, let it sit for like a little bit. Because if they want it on a crankbait, you're going to know, because they're going to eat those. And when it's in there, you're going to feel it take off. And then all of a sudden you reel back. And then it's done. But I appreciate everybody stopping in. I just wanted to give, a couple people some announcements of what is all going on. And my next video will be, I'll start working on it tomorrow, putting it together. Trying to take different people out. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 people so far that have been viewers that I've taken out with me, and I'm trying to get viewers out there. A lot of people that don't have a boat, try to get them out fishing. A couple people have kayaks, but it gets tiring, and there's a lot of times where you can't get places in a kayak that you can with a boat. So that's my whole goal. Like, people try to offer me money. No, I'm out here fishing. I'm coming out no matter what. But I want you to have a good time. I want you to experience what I am doing. You spend the time watching my videos, so why can't I spend the time with you on the boat trying to help? That's my whole thing. I'm out having fun, so I'm going to make a video of it. And if it helps you, that's awesome. That's all I'm trying to do, is just put great content out there, whether it's to help people, try to get them into fishing, what I'm looking at, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and try to help you out. Or even if you're a bank fisherman, or if you're this and you're like, well, why am I getting bit? What am I doing wrong? Try a technique that I'm doing. Like, I've tried numerous techniques watching videos, but I found one that stuck. Just like the way that I throw that pulse jig. I throw it like I use a chatterbait. Like, I'm reeling it in, and all of a sudden I'll give it a couple twitches. So it's sitting here, just going along, vibrating back and forth, and all of a sudden, boom, it just darts off. And I have noticed when I'm catching fish, it's on a dart. So why am I going to change? So that's another thing that you guys need to look at when you're out. Look at when they bite, when you catch a fish, what you were doing. That's a huge point. What were you doing that got that fish to bite? Think about it. Take some time. I know it's hard to think about, and you're really not going to think about it. But if you really want to narrow it down to what you were doing, so you can have that repetitive thing over and over and over again, and you start catching more and more and more, figure out what you were doing that you were catching those fish, and try to implement that over and over and over again. All right, I'm catching them on these logs, or I'm catching them off these rocks on a pause. All right, you understand that? Or I'm in the mud and I'm burning it. All right, well, around mud, I'm burning it and I'm getting bites. It's fine. Now you understand when you get to mud, or you get to rocks, or you get to this, what you need to do there. So you're not going from here to here to here, and you can't figure out why you're not getting bites. Just keep like a mental note. That's what I've been doing when I'm watching videos. I try a technique, doesn't work for me. Try this technique, doesn't work for me. I found my own technique. Trying to use this from this YouTuber and this YouTuber's technique, and I put them together and made my own. I swim my stuff weird. I put a lot of pauses. And I'll even do a lot of jerks. So I can either be doing my crankbait. I could be going, I pause, and then I'll pull my rod. So it ain't diving, it's just a slow pull. I've gotten bites like that. Just like how a jerk bait, I can go ahead and jerk it, sit it there, and I'll give it one, but I'll long one. So it just goes like this and it just sits then. It all depends, but don't be afraid to go ahead and try different stuff. Like, you will be surprised at what you find out, what the fish will tell you. The fish will tell you what they want on any lure. You know, it might be the color, it might be the lure, it might be your action. They will always tell you what they want and always try to replicate that over and over and over again. And I didn't do that for years ago. And I'm finally learning to actually do that, and it's paying off. Now I'm able to put videos out for you guys to watch. And I'm putting 30 plus fish between me and the person in the back, putting 30 plus fish in a boat. Like, you can go out, yeah, these guys are catching these huge 10 pound bass, which is great. They're all in Texas. I understand that. And you go down there, you have a real good chance of catching that. You know, and that's where they're focused at. And they're throwing big old swim baits. Well, that ain't me. I don't throw 10, 12-inch glide baits. You know, like, I tried it. I don't know the technique, and I didn't catch nothing. But that's not me. So I'm more of a crankbait, jig, chatterbait. I'll say my favorite, except for the winter, my go-to crankbait is going to be an L-shaped crankbait. Which, if you see you will hear me yell that I use the Schwenk 66 or a Schwenk 77. I think is the most phenomenal bait out there. Spring, summer, fall. It don't dig. It runs true and it runs flat. And you can get it through such thick of weeds. It's just an amazing lure. Especially the 66. Like, I always buy lures that I have a smaller size and I have a larger size, because they might like one or the other. So if I'm catching a lot of, say, if I'm using the Schwenk 66, for instance, it's a smaller than the 77. So if I'm catching a bunch of smaller fish with the 66, I'm going to upscale it to 77 and see if I can get one of the larger fish to bite on it. Just like right now, you know, a lot of people the new thing is that the Chatterbait Mini. It's a phenomenal bait. It's a little tiny thing, and it mimics the tiny bait fish. What are out there right now? Tiny bait fish. People are using it in Florida, like, now. Use it in Texas right now. It's a Chatterbait Mini. Like, they are tiny, and it works. It's a real tiny blade, and it thumps like real fast. I've used it, and I've caught a 4-pounder on it. Like, you catch big fish on. People think, you know, downsizing is a problem. No, you could still catch the largest fish of your life with a small bait. Like, it's people just think that. Like, I did too. I was that same exact person. Oh, you know, the bigger the bait, the bigger the fish, which is normally true. But at the same exact time, you can still catch that big old fish with a tiny bait. I mean, look at the size of jig. People catch a jig, what, 3/8 ounce? Like, a 3/8 ounce jig is like this big. People catch 10 pounders with it. And that goes to show you, like, they're not using, you know, some 12-inch, you know. Yeah, in the summer, you can use that 12-inch worm. You know, you have a different technique for, you know, different things you want to fish, depending on the type of the year. But we're talking about fishing right now. For instance, it's colder water. Go up north, it's going to be freezing soon. Water's going to be freezing over. So the technique now is slowing down, downsizing everything. Smaller bait fish, slower reel. So in the summer, you can get away with your top water, you know, your top water plugs, you know, your top water this, 8:1 gear ratio. Now, don't get me wrong, in the winter, you can still catch some big old fish burying a crankbait deep using an 8:1. Like, if you watch Tactical Bassin', they do it all the time in the winter. Like, they will, an 8:1 gear ratio, and they're just cranking on this crankbait down to 20 feet, and they catch some huge fish. You can still catch them like that. But the majority of the stuff is you're going to go ahead and you're going to downsize. Because right now, I'm going to be trying to learn, which you're going to see in the winter when it gets colder, I'm going to learn how to use a jigging spoon. I have it. I have an 8-inch jigging spoon. Never really used it. I'm going to learn how to use it. You're going to have I have a tail spinner. I've caught 2 fish on it, but I'm going to use a tail spin in the winter when I'm going to use my live active target or whatever you guys want to use. When it's nice, I'm going to let it go all the way down to the bottom, let it hit the ground and come up. I'm going to learn how to use that for number 2. But if you look at a tail spinner, it's tiny. Very, 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 very tiny. And also you go to another thing, blade bait. Tiny. So everything I'm talking about right now is basically tiny. Bait fish are tiny. Bait fish are going to die off. Right now the water's still warm enough to where they can survive, and eventually they're going to die off. So now you have those tiny lures to mimic what's left of those bait fish, and those fish got to eat. They're not going to eat, every day, but they still got to eat. So they're going to eat those tiny things, and you could end up catching, your biggest bass of your life in the winter. Yes, it might be freezing. You got to go through all, the wind, the cold, the this and that, but a lot of times it pays off. I've caught numerous big fish in the winter. And to me, I've always said it was by accident. Like, they weren't supposed to be where they were at, but they were there. Like, I used a 6 Sense 50X bone color and threw it up at the bank, and I'm coming over a log, and I bounced it off a log, and they just 4.5 pounders happened to be there. But right before that, I threw my jig in there. Nothing. Same exact spot. Same exact spot. But he didn't want that slow motion, and my crankbait got that reaction strike. But it's like this. It's a 50X. It's a smaller one. So like everything I'm talking about is downsizing, except for a spinner. Like if you were here earlier, you've seen the chat, your best weight to go is a 3/8 ounce and slow roll it. Now, depending on your water clarity, where you're at and where you're fishing is the type of blades that you're going to want to use. Now, this rain we're getting here in Tennessee should have been in October and November. Like, we're going to have basically 2 weeks worth of rain straight here. So what am I going to do when I get out in the lake? I know where the creeks run in at. So I'm going to take my other spinner baits, and instead, where's it at? I'm going to tie this one on right here because it's going to be murky. So what do you want them to hear is the sound. Those 2 Colorado blades are going to thump. This is a regular one that I use. Gold and silver. I always have a gold and silver one. The one that I used right here. Here's my other pulse jig one. As you can see, the head's beat up. Gold and silver. Gold and silver. And this is my go-to. I got a Divine swim bait behind it. 3/8 ounce. As you can see, my line tie is still on there. But this is my go-to. They're in normal clarity waters. I have that sitting right up. I have this sitting right up here at the boat. This does not go in my tackle box. This does not go anywhere. That sits right here. So in case I need to tie it on. That is always right next to me. I'm always going to go with that little bit of chartreuse. 3/8 ounce. Because I'm going to cast him there. You can probably cast him by this log 6-7 times. Nothing. But that's 9th time or 8th time. Boom. He ends up hitting it. And I throw it the same exact spot. I can throw my crankbait. I can throw this. I can throw that. And all of a sudden, that spinner comes right on through. And boom. It just hammers it. I mean, don't be hesitant to go out and get yourself one yet, too. You know what I mean? They're on that website. Don't forget to use Blyler 15. I have to get used to saying that because it's always Blyler 10. But as you can see, my line ties on here. I use them. And they're in my, and I do not use a trailer. I do not use a trailing hook. Just straight swim bait. And as you see, I'm pulling on it. And I'm about to rip this off. It stays on here very, very well. No glue. And it just stays on there nice. But I recommend having that. Recommend just trying it. Just trying to see where your niche is. You might be that might end up being your go-to bait as a spinner. You could use the Pulse Underspin. That could be your go-to bait, because don't forget that 1/4 ounce with a small swim bait on there, they're down to 20 feet, 30 feet. Throw it out there. Put it on a spinning reel. You don't need to use a chatterbait. Throw it on a spinning reel. 10-pound test, I wouldn't go any higher than 10. I'm in a spinner, I would go 12. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be hitting some, trees and everything else. But I would go 12-pound fluoro. I wouldn't use braid, because you don't want to rip it out of their mouth. You know what I mean? That's why I don't use braid a lot. That's another reason why I don't use braid. Now, top water, I got the 2 sets of treble hooks in there. And they take it and you set the hook. Like, I'm not swinging, but I use braid on my jigs. But I always use, a 15-pound leader. I use leaders for a lot of my stuff that I use, except for my top water. I use braid. Buzz bait, braid. I'm bringing it in. Like, you really don't need to set the hook. You got braid. A lot of people are ripping that bait out of someone's mouth, like out of the fish's mouth. So just beware of that when you actually do that. But appreciate everyone stopping by tonight, and I will get back to you guys next Tuesday when I have another garage talk. I'm gonna get going here. I got some stuff to do yet inside the house before it gets too late. But I appreciate everyone stopping by, and I will keep everybody posted. Now, don't forget, I do put it on my YouTube, on my comment section too, and the community spot. That's another thing that YouTube came out with, which a lot of people don't know yet. There's the community spot. So it's sort of like a Fish Brand / Facebook, where I can post pictures, I could post polls, I could post all that stuff on there, to let everyone know what's all going on. Sort of like a Twitter thing. You can post polls or this and that, but it's on YouTube and it's under the community post. So it depends on what YouTubers have it and what people don't. But they're slowly coming out with different stuff, because they're trying to take over like the whole industry of just, filming. They want Google to be back on top. But like I said, I appreciate everyone stopping by. Stop in at Pulse Fish Lures. Check out the stuff. I'll definitely recommend picking up some Pulse jigs for one, and underspin another. If you want to, depending on where you're at, if you're a bank fishing person, I'd recommend having a spinner, because that can come through whatever you're throwing it at. I mean, it's great around wood. Great. Everyone knows that I'm a huge chatterbait person. I won't use chatterbaits around wood. I'm getting stuck. I don't care what you say. Like, it's horrible around wood. So a 3/8 ounce chatterbait, I would go for right now in the winter. I'd go 1/4 ounce swim jig, depending on where you're throwing at, on the river, or you're on a lake, or you're on the bank, or your kayak. The 1/4 ounce, the best way to throw it is more than likely going to be on a spinning reel. If you have a spinning reel, use a spinning reel. I would recommend go from braid to fluorocarbon leader. You can go, I wouldn't go any higher than a 20-pound braid. I wouldn't go higher than that. You can go 15, you can go 10, you can go 10-pound braid to a 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, or you can even go 6. Make sure you play with the fish so that, so you don't snap your line. But have an underspin, a Pulse jig to have in your arsenal, or what I personally just ordered now, yet too, on top of that, check out their Finesse swim jig heads, man. Check out their Finesse swim jig heads. Yes, I understand they're $6.99, but you will not be disappointed. The only thing that sucks is if you lose them, because you're going to get mad, because you end up catching fish on them, catch one after another, and then all of a sudden you end up losing it and you don't have an extra one. So that's why I always try to keep a couple different things. But when you're out there fishing, don't just stick to one and it's just not working. Don't be afraid to turn it off and hesitate. My phone is basically going to be shutting down here in a second. I'm at 5% on my phone, so just giving you guys a heads up here. But I appreciate everyone stopping by. The video stream might be a little weak, but I will get back to you later on in the week. My video should be up tomorrow, and I appreciate everyone. Like I said before, I appreciate everyone stopping by. But if you go there to Pulse Fish Lures, use Blyler 15 now, not 10, Blyler 15, and grab yourself some. So you guys have a wonderful night, a wonderful week, and hopefully to see you guys next week. Have a good night.